What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Jack and Jack Sports Podcast. I'm here with my co-host Jack. My name's Jack, and today in our first ever episode, we're going to be detailing the crazy new NFL draft that's happening virtually. It's going to be a little different this year, not having the players walk up. So we're going to kind of talk about what we think is going to happen, who we think are sleeper picks, who our best picks are going to be, and then we're going to move on and talk about the MJ documentary that came out on ESPN that everyone saw, which was so highly anticipated, and see what we're talking about from that. So we'll go ahead and pull up a mock draft just so we can kind of base
Yeah,
everything around that.
good. Share my screen. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right. So obviously we got the Bengals drafting first pick. Absolutely atrocious year for them last year. Doesn't get much worse than that. Shout out Carson Everett, big Bengals fan.
Yep.
So they got them taking Joe Burrow. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, obviously, that's pretty much the obvious pick there. You know, Andy Dalton's kind of been underperforming the past few years, and Joe Burrow had a ridiculous college year last year. So they always got to go get Joe Burrow with that one.
Oh, of
And
course.
then,
That's where I'm at too. I think Joe Burrow is the man for the Bengals.
yeah,
Uh, don't know if he's the best overall player. I think Chase Young at number 2 is going to be the best like impact player right
yeah,
away.
I'd have to
I
agree.
think Joe Burrow is the player that the Bengals are going to try to build their franchise around. So I guess I already talked about it. Pick 2, Redskins, Chase Young, pretty much a no-brainer. Guy's a freak. Being an Ohio State fan, I watched him all year long, and people were like, "Oh, he wasn't getting much production at the end of the year," but if you were watching him, he was getting 2 linemen and a running back blocking him every freaking play.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he just makes an impact on the game. He's absolute freak of nature, massive dude. Redskins get a good one there if they take him, which they should.
Definitely.
Uh, so pick 3, the Lions. This guy's got Jeff Okuda going there. Not sure if the Lions keep this pick. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I don't know much about Jeff Okuda, but I do know that the Falcons are in need of a secondary player. So I think they're what pick are they?
Yeah, I think if
I want to say
you're,
they're 16. So I think they'll trade up for that one and take
yeah, and
Okuda at number 3.
I think if you're the Lions, you're not one lockdown corner away from the Super Bowl. I mean, they know they're a bunch of players off, and they definitely should shop that pick and try to get more picks and some more quality players because I mean that's high value there. And I think Jeff Okuda is probably who I would go with at number 3. But don't be surprised if a team in need of a quarterback slides in there and wants to take their shot at a Herbert or a Tua before the Dolphins get a chance to pick a little bit later. But I think Jeff Okuda, absolute lockdown corner. Guy gave up like 1 touchdown all year. Absolutely, definitely the right pick.
Yeah. So number 4 we got Tristan. I'm not really sure. I don't know much about this guy, but it's pretty obvious that New York needs a offensive line help. You know, they got a young quarterback, Daniel Jones. So they're definitely gonna need some O line help. I've heard they're also looking at Herbert here. I don't know if that's true or not, but I read some stuff about that. But I think O line's definitely the right move for them.
Yeah, I think the Giants definitely they're going to try to build with Daniel Jones. I think securing your O line, that's the best way to give your young quarterback time to throw behind the line. Definitely a good pick, but I could also see them taking Isaiah Simmons from Clemson, the linebacker. Guy's a dynamic playmaker. It's a tough decision that the Giants are going to make, but I think they should go O line. But don't be surprised if they go Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
All right, so 5, we got the Dolphins taking Tua Tagovailoa. Second quarterback off the board, left-handed thrower. I'm usually not a big fan of left-handed quarterbacks. He did seem a little injury prone at the end of his career there at Alabama. So, I mean, the guy has a huge upside potential, but I think he also has a lot of potential to be a bust, especially in the situation in Miami. I think he's not going to have the playmakers he had at Alabama.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
I
there's
think
there's no receivers over at Miami, and also you touched on the injury stuff. Um, it's always a risk to take somebody who's been hurt so much in their college career. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they took Herbert there, just because he's pretty much the typical quarterback, tall, not really any injury worries. So I
yeah.
think Herbert too would go there.
So they got at 6, they got the Chargers taking Herbert.
Yeah,
And I think if I'm the Dolphins, I think I would take Herbert myself. Guys like 6'6", rocket arm, doesn't get much exposure being from Oregon on the West Coast. But I think he's definitely he just needs to kind of tune the interceptions down. But I think the Chargers get whichever quarterback isn't taken by Miami, either Herbert or Tua, just
yeah,
because they
definitely.
moved on from Philip Rivers. Pick 7, they got my team, the Carolina Panthers, taking Derek Brown, defensive tackle from Auburn. Not a huge fan of that, honestly. Losing Luke Kuechly with a player like Isaiah Simmons' talent on the board, I think you can't pass up on him. He's just just a massive playmaker. Was a sure thing in the middle of the Clemson Tigers defense, and I think that's who the Panthers should take. But if you look at the Panthers historically, they do like to shore up their D line.
Yeah, and you talked about Isaiah Simmons. I mean, he's probably one of my favorite players in this draft, just because he can play basically anywhere on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, he played a lot of linebacker. He was on the edge rushing sometimes. He was even playing safety. Like, he's listed linebacker safety here. So definitely, if the Cardinals can, I don't think he'll be there at pick 8, but if the Cardinals can get him, that'd be an awesome pick,
Okay.
I think.
That'd be a steal pick at
Yeah,
8. If he's
definitely.
8, it'd definitely be a steal. All right. At number 9, this guy's got Javon Kinlaw going from defensive tackle from South Carolina, going to Jaguars. Not going to lie, don't know much about Kinlaw. I know he did make a big impact in the games that South Carolina was successful in winning, especially that Georgia game. I guess he's a elite pass rusher. But honestly, don't know much about them. Again, the Jaguars. Do you think they're one player off? No. So I think that definitely stirs up, though. It'll help their defense to get a big boy up front.
So yeah.
Browns going O-line. I think that's right. I think you take the best O-lineman at that spot, whether it be that Jedrick Willis from Bama, who they got going to the Jets, or Mekhi Becton from Louisville. Got to protect Baker. Let him throw it up to Odell and Jarvis.
Yeah, and pick 11, the Jets. They're projected to take O-line, which makes sense, but I can also see him taking a receiver here, just because Darnold doesn't have much weapons. They got Judy going next, so I don't think that'd be a bad pick there. But O-line definitely makes sense, just because you got a young quarterback, and it always helps having a strong O-line to protect him. So it
Yeah.
makes sense.
So 12, they got the Raiders taking Judy, first wide receiver off the board. And I don't know. I think CeeDee Lamb is who I would take. CeeDee
Yeah,
Lamb just put on an absolute show at Oklahoma. You watched that play this year against Texas. He wasn't even like 100%. He was just, like making these impossible runs. I mean, there's just nothing but Texas jerseys around him, and he breaks it for 85 yards. Like, I think he's explosive, but Jerry Jeudy he also is very, very explosive. So I just think CeeDee Lamb, I think he's had better upside for CeeDee Lamb. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a toss-up. I know Jerry Jeudy, they talk about his route running a lot. And he's played in a great system in Alabama, so he pretty much, I mean, he's been blessed with having Tua throwing to him, which helps a lot. But I think it's pretty much a toss-up between those two. You go either way there, I think.
All right, pick 14. This is a big one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Definitely O-line. Whoever's there, they're going to take them. They got him slated Andrew Thomas from Georgia. got to protect Tom Brady. Let him sit behind them blockers and sling the thing. Talking about one of the best players to ever play the game. Obviously, at the end of his career, so you got to protect him, and that's the big thing to do for him.
Yeah. So 15, got the Broncos taking Henry Ruggs. I think this is a great pick. I think I have his stats over here. Hold on. Yeah, he ran a 4.2740, which is insane. I think it's the second fastest in for a receiver in combine history, something last 10 years, something like that. So he was obviously really quick, got that playmaking ability. I think it's a great pick for the Broncos. They're in need of a receiver. They got Drew Lock in there at quarterback, so I think Henry Ruggs is definitely the perfect pick for them at 15.
I agree. At 16, they got the Falcons going C.J. Henderson. Again, do not be surprised if the Falcons trade up, maybe even try to go for Okuda. Definitely need to shore up their secondary. That's going to be their main focus more than likely this entire draft. They picked up Todd Gurley. So they got some upside. Matt Ryan's near the end of his career. I think the Falcons are going to try to make a push and try to make it back to the Super Bowl this year.
Definitely.
All right, they got pick 17. They got Kalavion Cherison, LSU edge rusher. He's again just good pass rusher. There's not much other than to say that. Good pick for the Cowboys. Cowboys has struggled a little bit getting after the passer last year, so I think that's definitely what they want.
Yeah, and I'm not really familiar with Xavier McKinney, but the Dolphins are kind of bottom of the league, and I don't really know. I guess safety's a pretty good pick for them just because their defense was horrendous last year. So
and they pick back up another elite safety. I watched a little bit of Alabama last year, and McKinney was all over the field making tackles for him. After they traded Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Steelers, I think they pick right back where they were with Xavier McKinney, who has the tremendous upside that Fitzpatrick has.
Yeah, here's the Raiders, 19. Another LSU guy going off the board. They're definitely. They definitely in need of a linebacker. Kind of similar to the Dolphins. Their defense was just terrible last year, and this Patrick Queen kid looks pretty decent, especially coming from LSU, who had a great defense. So, it makes sense there.
At 20, they got the Jags picking again, taking A.J. Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. I have to say, I think A.J. Terrell is a bust. Watched him, obviously, in the College Football National Championship in the semifinals. He got burned a lot by Ohio State's freshman, Garrett Wilson. Got him on the deep ball a couple times. His upside is pretty high. He's got very good length. He's got good size, play corner, but I don't know. I just saw him getting burnt a little too much, and I think that he is my bust pick as of now for this first round.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we'll just kind of quick fire these last couple picks, the last 10 or so.
Yeah.
Eagles, Kenneth Murray, linebacker. Eagles, they should shore up linebacker. 22, Justin Jefferson, guy just absolutely went off for LSU this year. Probably my sleeper wide receiver. I'd maybe put him in front of Ruggs. Maybe even Judy.
He's really good. He's definitely my sleeper too. Just seeing how he did in the playoff, just went off. So I definitely think he's a sleeper. A great pick there for the Vikings.
All right, at 23, they got the Patriots taking AJ Espinoza from Iowa, edge rusher. Patriots are in a kind of a question mark season coming up. No Tom Brady for the first time in a long time. I know Belichick really did like Justin Herbert. That's what everyone was reporting after he went to Herbert's pro day at Oregon. Don't think they're going to try to make the trade and move up to get him. I think they're going to try and target a free agent. So you can't go wrong with an edge rusher. Not a bad pick.
Then we got 24, Jordan Love. I think he's fourth quarterback off the board, which is it's pretty. I mean, I think the Saints. It's a pretty smart pick. You know, you got Drew Brees kind of on the end of his career. Taysom Hill, I don't know that he's really a throwing quarterback, and Jordan Love's obviously got a great arm.
Yeah,
I think it's a pretty solid pick.
Jordan Love has huge potential for Jordan Love. Obviously coming out of a little bit of a smaller school of Utah State, but everyone says he's got the raw, just natural ability. A couple years behind Drew Brees, get picking his brain, and Saints might be looking at their future quarterback if they take him there. Vikings taking a cornerback out of Utah, Jalen Johnson. Saw some highlights. Definitely a good corner. Can play good man. So, you know, the Vikings, very saw him take wide receiver. Now they're going to go defensive side of the ball in the first round. I like the pick. Then we got the Dolphins taking the offensive tackle from Houston. I think they definitely should go O-line. I think O-line picks you can't really go wrong unless they're injury prone. I think running back is risky there, but I definitely think that O-line would be a good pick. 27, they got the Seahawks taking Yuri Gross-Matos, Penn State edge rusher. Definitely saw he had some big games in the Big Ten against Michigan. He is a good pass rusher. I think the Seahawks are definitely looking to try to get that Legion of Boom back a little bit on their defense.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Good pick. Zach Bond. Yeah, he got after the pass rusher at Wisconsin. Definitely got after Justin Fields when I was watching them play. He's a good little pick. I think the Ravens are, again, I think they're like one or two players off from being, you know, very, very good. Obviously, had an exceptional year last year. See if Lamar Jackson can repeat. They got the Titans taking Austin Jackson, offense tackle from USC. Again, offensive lineman, can't really go wrong. Get another big guy in the trenches to block for Derrick Henry there. And then for our last pick, we got Brandon Akuye, wide receiver from Arizona State. You know, Arizona to Green Bay, a little bit of a weather adjustment for him, but you know, he is a decent wide receiver. Obviously, slated to get first round. I think he could work. At 31, we got the Niners taking Trevin Diggs out of Bama. Good corner to match up with
Sherman
on the other side. Definitely would make a good impression. And then at 32, we got the Chiefs taking first running back off the board, DeAndre Swift. Now, I think if the Chiefs are going running back, I don't think DeAndre Swift's the man. I think he was overhyped at Georgia. I think Taylor is the man to take first off the board running back.
I would even say Dobbins too.
Dobbins, I'm a Ohio State fan. I watched Dobbins run all year long, and that guy is just an animal. I mean, there was times at the end of games when everyone and their grandmother knew that the ball was getting handed off to Dobbins, and he'd take it. You know, solid downhill runner. I just think DeAndre Swift, he's hurt a lot. Definitely got a lot of hype. Raw athlete. He's definitely a raw athlete, but I think big bust potential. But again, picking at 32, it's a pretty safe pick for the Chiefs.
Who need a running back, definitely.
Yeah.
Pretty solid pick.
So that's our NFL draft preview. We're going to move to let's go to the Michael Jordan documentary.
Yeah.
Obviously, that happened, premiered the first one, The Last Dance, episodes 1, 2. If you haven't watched it, definitely go check it out. So first off, Jack, what's your first impressions of the show, I guess?
So, first impressions, I would have to say that was one of the best sports documentary, probably the best sports documentary I've ever seen. Just because you get an inside look at like what goes on between like running a team. You get a lot of, like inside look at the GM, kind of what he did with that team and like how he was kind of just a jerk to a lot of the players. You know, you get an inside look at that, like how that goes on. Um, you just learn more about Jordan as a player. Like talks about his second season, I think the ankle injury, how he came back from that and played like 7 minutes a half and was still just blowing, like just going crazy. And he came back and dropped like 60 against the Celtics, which is insane. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't really know much about Jordan, but it just gives really like good insight about Jordan's career, which is it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it was very, very well done by ESPN. Incredible interviews with people. Definitely kind of revamping Michael Jordan's hype with the younger generation. You know, like a lot of kids, like we never got the chance to see Jordan play in person, and we never got to see him. And watching some of that highlights is just insane, and getting to kind of think what my kind of like listen to what Michael was thinking. Obviously, the guy's an insane competitor. Um, he has that ankle injury, and the guy's like, well, if you had to take an aspirin and one of them could kill you, and there was
Yeah,
another that would whatever, and Michael said, it depends on how bad the headache is if you would take it or not. That's just something you don't really see. The guy is just an absolute animal, and I think that first series when he came back and dropped 63, if he didn't run into one of the best basketball teams of all time, I think that Celtics team with Bird and all those
yeah,
guys, big,
Parrish, yeah,
yeah, those guys were very, very good, and he almost led them to win a couple games just single handedly. So I also think it's very interesting. You see, like Michael would play like 18 to 36 holes of golf every morning. Like he would go and he went and took out that Celtics guard. What's his name?
Danny Ainge.
Danny Ainge. Yeah, they went and played golf the day before, like the day of the game. Like, and then he's walking out. Michael's walking out after Danny Ainge took a couple dollars off him and some bets, and he said, "Tell your boy to be ready to bring it next game." And then he dropped 63. So I think
63.
it's really, really well done, and I think it's what the sports world wanted. Obviously with not much going on, that thing probably had the most views out of anything on TV right now. Uh,
Yeah,
and I think it's really well done, and I think it's going to inspire a lot more Jordan fans admiring them. And I think it is funny. There was this one part where Patrick Ewing was wearing a Georgetown basketball polo, and nothing quite says Michael Jordan's reach like him sitting like. So Michael, obviously, he played Patrick Ewing in the championship at UNC when he was at Georgetown. Patrick Ewing was at Georgetown, and Jordan hit the game-winning shot, obviously. And now you see Ewing back at his alma mater, and he's wearing Georgetown basketball with the Michael Jordan logo, the guy who beat him right on his shirt. So I think that's that to see how far like Michael Jordan extends, it's pretty incredible.
yeah. Another thing they really talk about, I think it's more the second part of it, a lot about Pippen and about how great he really was. A lot of people would say like, Jordan did all by himself. Pippen didn't really. Pippen was or Jordan made Pippen, and it
Yeah,
really just talks about how he was such a great player and was like the perfect Robin to Jordan being Batman. I think that's pretty important to note.
yeah, and I think it kind of helps LeBron's case if you look at
Yeah,
who, if you're talking about who's the best player. I mean, MJ himself says there's no Mike. You can't talk Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen. I mean, Scottie Pippen was a top 3 player behind MJ, and he might have even snuck in at number 2 at that time. I mean, he's a dynamic scorer, and if you look at what LeBron did with some of his teams, bring them to the finals, you don't know anyone on those rosters. So, I mean, it kind of helps LeBron a little bit's case, but it also boosts Jordan's popularity. So those debates are going to be fun to watch in the next couple of years.
Definitely. Thing I'd add, they also kind of the first part, they talk about the GM and like his relationship with Michael Jordan. I think his name's Jerry Krause.
Yeah.
Um, just how like strained their relationship was, and how he almost caused Phil Jackson to like just quit, just because
Yeah.
his ego was so big, and it's
Yeah.
just
And
the way
Krause,
it came
yeah.
out.
And it's funny to watch like the kind of behind the scenes footage, like the ring ceremony. MJ is like, Krause, you gonna come out and take layups with us? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And he's like, all right, I'll tell him to lower the goals for you.
Yeah,
Kind of like seeing that jabbing back and forth is pretty cool to watch. Obviously, Krause drove the Bulls down to the ground, and I would like to see them if they would have stuck around for a couple more years to see how good they could, how many more they could have won.
yeah,
But that's about all for episode 1. In episode 2, we'll probably try to get a special guest to join us. We'll try to get some more guests and get more topics for next time. And I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time.
all right.